Ah, all right, good deal. Live and in concert. Here we go. So here's an interesting thing that comes up every now and again. The gods are testing me. Bullshit. There's nobody testing you. This is the same kind of horseshit you hear from Christians. Well, the Lord's just testing me, or the devil is tempting me, or some horseshit like that. Some feature outside yourself is challenging your right to exist in the manner that you wish to exist. And it's horseshit. It's horseshit of the highest order. Can't tell you how much it is. The other thing is, and we'll get to the victim part here in a minute, but this idea that something is testing you. You ever stop to consider that this is the kind of thing that your life is for, so you might figure out who you're supposed to become, how you're supposed to grow into it? This is the challenge in front of you that your actions most likely put in front of you. You know, or you smoke. Well, I got lung cancer. Well, don't smoke. Well, my boyfriend, well, there's all kinds of horse shit that goes up where people, well, I'm being tested by the gods right now. God, no. Here's the thing. You have all the gifts you're supposed to have. Your challenge is not to sit here and say, well, they're testing me. So let me get this straight. So the gods are going to test you, and yet you haven't clarified exactly what it is the gifts that you have are that you might use as tools to navigate such a travesty of life. It's a pickle. These things that we go through are the things that we have to grow through to become what we're supposed to become. There's no God sitting up there saying, oh, yeah, I got an evil Norn. No, you didn't get an evil Norn. That also is some later stuff that come up with Christians, allocating them almost to the role of angels, which is frustrating. There are three, and they have names, and that's it. The idea that there's what would it be, 21 billion Norns running around. Come on, guys. Let's be real about this. There's three, and they pick it all out. They know what's going on. They know what's going to happen. They know how it's going to fall down. Your challenge is not sit here and say something out there is testing me. I'm not sure what to do, and wring your hands in angst and worry. Is to take a look inside yourself. Deepak Chopra says real clear, there's no external enemy. Now, if somebody's trying to cut your throat, that's an external enemy. You got to do something about it. But to sit around and worry about being tested or the attitudes of someone else or someone's doing things against you or someone's talking behind your back, who gives a fuck? And that's all that thinking that you're talking about is your own thinking. A waste of my thought process. What positive thing could I put it to? And the majority of people cannot or will not do such a thing. Oh my gosh, I have to think about this. Look, you got to plan it, you got to think about it, but don't let it occupy the entirety of your thoughts. How are you ever supposed to grow into something when the entirety of your thought process is focused on some horse shit that doesn't mean a hill of beans next week? I assure you, whatever you're fucking stressed about this week, next week it's going to have a different shape or a different form, or there'll be something entirely different for you to stress about. Hell, 2 weeks ago, we were still worried about COVID, wearing masks. Now all of a sudden, oh, it's going to be okay. The higher gas prices are because of the Ukraine. Okay. You want to believe that? I got some beachfront property in Arizona to sell you. We all have to do our part to defend democracy. Shut the fuck up. This whole concept of these gods testing me, I've heard other people say it. And every time I hear somebody say that, all of my immediate thought process is that's a weak motherfucker. Not willing to accept responsibility for the best thinking they could come up with, putting them in the situation they are in. This is what I tell people at work sometimes. They find themselves doing a job they absolutely hate. They applied to come work here. My drill sergeant said it best in basic training. A bunch of people were whining because we'd done a 12-mile march or some nonsense like that. Feet hurt and all backs hurt and all that other nonsense. You asked for it when you said, yeah, I want to be in the infantry. Well, fuck. You asked for this when you decided I'm going to follow a path that says everything I need to negotiate the problems of life come from in here, not out there. And you want to still sit around, oh, I'm a victim. This just happened to me. Yep, probably did. Probably sucked. Probably things we don't even want to know about. How are you going to negotiate that? Or are you going to let it be the identifying characteristic of who you are? Or are you going to feel like you're being tested by the gods? You were gifted with all kinds of things the moment you were born. And from the moment you were born, those gifts have been trampled on by damn near every aspect of society to make you dependent upon someone else for the quality of your life. And you want to bring that attitude into this new spirituality that you've discovered? How successful you think that's going to be? How far you think that's going to get you in life? That's interesting. I don't have to hate the devil anymore, but I can hate these other people just as hard. Oh my gosh, it's awesome. You change the foundation of your spiritual being. You can't tiptoe through the daisies. You're not going to get as far as you think you are if you take a good long stride down the right path. Constantly see people more than willing to embrace the dumb shit that David Lane has put out or other fucking idiots like the universalists. I'm going to hate you because I think you hate. You don't know me from shit. Shut your fucking mouth and go away. If you want to learn something, stick around. You think you know it all? Well, go on, brother. Go on with your bad self. I ain't got to waste time on you. So how do we negotiate that? How do we come across that? Well, the first thing is to realize no matter what's going on, it's not the enemy. You're not a victim. Things simply are. And however you decide to think about it is what makes it good or bad. Granted, there are a few exceptions. I'm not going to split hairs. And if you come at me sideways wanting to split hairs about this or that situation, you're just going to piss me off and I'm going to break you down and tear you up. Because I promise you, whatever situation you can bring through, I can help you negotiate that too. Using the same process. Stop thinking about it like it's the end of the fucking world. Stop trying to garner attention for yourself about how you're special with this I'm being tested. What the messianic overtones of such a concept boggle the imagination. Oh, there must be greatness in your future. You're being tested. My goodness. No, you just come up with a dumb fucking idea and decided to milk it for all it's worth and get the attention you think you're worth. Okay. Hell, I've done it. How do you think I know how to talk about it? You think I haven't identified the same thing in myself? Give me a fucking break. Where else would it come from? Think I read about it in a book? No, I'm trying to apply these spiritual principles as I see them in my life. And one of the first things I recognize is I'm wasting a lot of time on dumb shit. I'm not a victim. I've been through some tough times. And next, there's always people always amaze me. They fail to get something accomplished and then they utter some, well, there was this happened and that happened. And I don't give a fuck. This is all I wanted. I wanted this result. And they start volunteering all kinds of information about their personal life. No one cares. Work harder. It's just that simple with your spirituality too. You think someone's testing you? You think someone has leaned over from the edge of Asgard and decided that one. Let's get that one right there. Let's take that one right there. Let's put some shit on their shoulders and see how they act. Yeah, let's do it. No. The fuck makes you think you're that goddamn special? That's a victim mentality with the flip side coin of ego. It's like a sausage and eggs shit. Victim and ego. Mind going back and forth between garnering the importance for being the victim and then wallowing in self-pity because you're the victim and not getting enough attention because your ego needs to be fed, so you need some more attention. And you want to call that your spirituality? You want to call that also true? Oh my God. Listen, when a young man leaves home and he goes out to explore the world and he thinks there's all kinds of dragons out there he has to slay, the only thing he ever has to deal with is what's going on in here. That dragon that he's so searching for on far distant horizons is getting control of his own heart and mind. The examples put forth in our spirituality demonstrate that to us again and again and again. And yet, because everybody says, well, there's no ace-a-pope, I can interpret this the way I want, you get fucked up idiots and Fruit Loops and retards coming up with some special idea. Well, I've got a CD in philosophy. Shut the fuck up. You don't know, come here from Sikkim. You couldn't lead a platoon out of a wet paper sack. You want to talk about how you figured out the way of life? I don't want to hear it. Take that shit somewhere else. Oh, he's the All Father, not the Son Father. Well, I imagine that those folks who have their own set of gods, I imagine their gods might be kind of questioned. What do you mean? No. I created these people over here. Thou fool. Gives you a reason. When they take on ideas that give us a reason to be angry, we got to question that shit. When we're bombarded on the news by ideas that try to manipulate us into feeling angry, we got to question that shit. Why? Why is it important that I know this, that, or the other? How does that affect how I go to work? It's going to cost me more money. I need to know about it so I can plan for it. It's going to be bad weather. I need to know so I can plan for it. But my task is to get up and go to work, make my money, pay my bills, and do what I need to do. Not anything else. Now, when you want to branch out from that and you step away from the routine of daily life that 99% of Americans deal with, maybe 90%, because there's a bunch of lazy motherfuckers. I don't have a job right now, but I've got to be in between. So if you ain't working right now, it's because you don't want to. You can't fool anybody about that bullshit. Listen, the best thinking you can come up with is when you step into a new spirituality to embrace something that tells you how much you need to hate and how much you're a victim, or that you might be tested, or other. Do yourself a favor. Sit down, shut the fuck up, and try listening to somebody that knows what they're talking about, that has a little bit quality of life that might be a little bit beyond your own, that might have a level of peace and stability that at the moment you may not seem to possess. Crisis after crisis after crisis. The gods are testing me. No. You need to grab a hold of your thoughts. So here's the thing about our thoughts. They belong to us. They're our thoughts. And if we can't control them, I assure you, somebody else will. They always do. There's somebody on the news every 24 hours a day trying to do it. Figured that out yet? They're your thoughts. If you can't control them, who is? Well, it certainly ain't the gods testing you, because the messianic overtones of that are retarded. So get a handle on your thought process. And maybe you begin to understand that, maybe that isn't such a big deal after all. Because honestly, nobody else gives a fuck. Nobody else cares. When Tyr got his hand bit off, everybody laughed at him. So don't forget that next time you feel like playing the victim. When Balder died, everybody cried. They missed their friend and their brother and their son. Did that shape? Well, I'm special because I lost a brother. I'm special because I've lost my child. No. I know some people that have lost their children. You know what happens to them? They have to deal with so much enormous pain that at the end of the day, what you find is they become some of the best, most wonderful people you'll ever fucking meet, because they successfully negotiated one of the most difficult tragedies of life. That's just the way it is. The people that never negotiate the tragedies of their own thought process, where do you think they ever get? Ask yourself, if you're dealing with that kind of shit right now, ask yourself, how far am I going to get doing this? How fucking far are you going to make it doing this kind of nonsense? These are your thoughts. You got to control them. Now, I understand people have had some shitty hands in life. But that is not what makes you who you are. That is not what makes you special in the eyes of your child. I assure you of that. You could be a worthless sack of shit to the entire community. But if you take care of your child, feed them, love them, all the other good things that goes with being a parent, if that's the only thing you achieve, I assure you that child doesn't see you that way. So how are we supposed to think about it? How are we supposed to change our thoughts and become who we're supposed to become? I said several years ago, and I heard it from somebody else. You have to be the most important thing in your world. You have to be the star of your own show. And last week, Master Chim sent out an email, very right to the point, too. If you're writing a story about your life and you write yourself as the victim, that's what you're going to be all the time. If you write the story of your life and you write yourself as a survivor, that's all you're ever going to do is survive. If you write yourself as the star, the winner, the champion, well, guess what happens now? Now you become the star of your own show. And you begin to succeed in daily goals that most people can't begin to imagine. How'd you get through that? I believed in myself. Where does the strength to believe in yourself come from? Not because of your physical attributes, not because of how pretty or how ugly or how strong or how short or how tall you are, not because of your emotional state, not because you have a great big loving heart. Your mental state is key in this. It simply is. How am I going to process it? Where do you come up with the information to process it? From your spirituality. The scar of Christianity tells us that something out there is what's going to fix it. And that's never the case. Nothing takes it away. You can get down every 30 minutes and pray and hope it takes it away. But if your spirituality encourages the development of a strong mind, a strong heart, and a strong body, and the acceptance of responsibility for your life, shit changes, folks. That's just all there is to it. Things change. Things get better. You get stronger. And the things that would tear you down a year ago are like so much dust on your shoulder. You also will find that you won't find yourself in that situation again, which is a very important thing to deal with. Yeah. Because now you're thinking about something different. And you're not worried about whether some other group is doing, oh, they're working against us. No, you dumbass. Nobody's working against us. You know what they're doing? They're working for their own best self-interest. And if we as a community are still sitting there focused on, they're doing things that are going to keep us down. They're going to keep the white man down. Shut the fuck up with that dumb shit. If you don't stop focusing on that, when are you ever going to get to focus on taking care of our best self-interest? Your best self-interest. My best self-interest. Somebody sold you a bill of goods and told you to look out there to teach you, oh, I was a victim and I just didn't know it. Oh, yeah, you're sure a victim, all right. Some people really are. But if you're 6'3" and bald and fat as fuck, probably not. It's probably your own thought process that did it. Figure it out. Figure it out firmly before you step into the titles and roles you think you're worth. I promise you, I'll be in the way the entire time if you don't.